Italian chef who's like 7 feet tall.
Jews, listen to me for a second, okay?
God.
You cannot buy your way into a kosher Pesach.
You cannot pay $10,000.
If you pay $50,000, there's not enough money on earth that will pay somebody to make sure that your Pesach is kosher. What you're doing is you're paying $50,000 to put the blame on someone else, and so you don't have to think about it. What the hell is that? Vacations, these cruises that you go on. Why would you think that anybody is actually taking care of you, of your spiritual needs? Are you retarded? You know what I mean? Like,
dude, if I post this, if I
you know how ridiculous you look on a cruise?
Dude, if I post these in the kosher food groups, this thing is gonna go.
I'm talking to my religious Jewish brothers right now.
Yeah.
Guys, the way it would seem that the way Hashem set up this whole situation is that you can't live your life mindlessly. Even if you have a lot of money, you can't pay somebody to take care of your spiritual needs. You got to be your own.
Well, why do you think why do you think people have separate things? Because they don't want to think. Why do you think people have separate this? Because they don't want to think. Dude, we know what I was thinking about today. If whoever knows, the people that don't need to be machmir, strict with kashrut, are the people that actually know the halachas. If you actually sit down and you learn the flippin' halachas, then you won't need to be crazy in your own house and drive your family crazy.
Ignorance created an industry, a toxic industry. It's not good. My fellow Jews, the restaurant industry is retarded and evil. Do you understand that?
It is.
You can't rely on God gave us the laws of kashrut to teach us that we got to be really, really, really careful with what you put into your body. You have to have you got to be fully conscious of what you're consuming, because it has an effect on you, like, spiritually. That's why we have all these, like, difficult, kind of seemingly like cumbersome laws, because it's protecting your soul. Your soul either suffers or it benefits from your observance of the stuff. That means it's you. You cannot put the responsibility on an OU on a little printed something that you're eating something safe. Why would they do that? Folks, they tried to kill you. They tried to kill all of you many, many, many times. Do you think that your spiritual needs, you think anybody gives a damn? You think, not only that, don't you think that somebody would take the opportunity to sabotage you spiritually? Why would you? I'm going to stop now.
You know what's interesting to me? Again, I think I mentioned this before. I once walked into a particular wine store, and one of the wines that I sell has a particular kosher certification. I'm not going to say which. The issue is not with the certification. So the owner of the wine store told me, oh, Hasidic guy, a lot of people are not going to buy wine with this certification. And I'm like, which one do they want? They want the one you have with the other wine that you brought. I'm like, yeah, but this is the one. This is that one, but it's from Israel. You just told me they have a problem with the one from Israel. That's the same one as the one in America. It's like, he's like, yeah, but I don't know, for some reason the dessert wine, they don't have a problem with it when it's on there. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm like, so the original hechsher that you told me that they're not going to buy the wine with that hechsher. Can I ask you a question? Do people buy food with that hechsher? Yeah, all the time. They buy the crackers, they buy this, they buy that. I'm like, okay, so what's the problem? Then there was another hechsher on the same bottle that is hechsher given by the biggest Sephardic rabbi in Israel, or Sephardic, kashrut organization in Israel. And I said, do you guys respect this person? Yes, but you see, we don't hold by him. It's Sephardi. I'm like, but do you respect the level of kashrut that they would have, at the very least, for themselves? Yes. So, but you won't drink the wine that it has that kashrut. No. I literally, I'm like, I'm at a loss. I am at a loss. Meanwhile, there are other wines that have about, like, there's wineries from Israel. They make sure to get like 4 or 5 different kosher certifications on the bottle. And I don't know, man. It's just and then like every person comes in looking for the specific picture that they're looking for because they trust that particular rabbi. Okay, but like you understand that the general standard. Meanwhile, there's a guy in Israel, Gnostic Fruitcake, making a movie about general kashrut and how it needs to be Shomer Shabbat people, and it's not fair. Why is it that people who are just Jews and not Shomer Shabbat can't make kosher wine? Meanwhile, these people are haggling over the type of kosher, or not the type, but the person who's giving the kosher certification.
Yeah.
Even though we know the employees didn't change, like let's say the winery changed the certification, added a particular certificate, the employees didn't change, the owner didn't change, the standards didn't change, the way they do things didn't change, nothing changed, nothing. Maybe if anything, they got improved something. I just don't know. This is a deep gullus, man. A deep, deep. And I tell this to people. The only thing they can say to me, like people who have been from their whole lives, Tzvi, we're in galut, we're in gullus. What do you want? We're in gullus.
I want to tell you just one thing, that if people actually kept the laws of kashrut according to their, not just the technicalities, but according to their spirit, right? Like the spirit of like what it's trying to accomplish, there would not be a single obese Jew.
That's true.
It'd be very difficult to eat that much food because you have to be very careful, very conscientious with everything that you eat.
Yeah.
And it would seriously limit almost everything. Everything would have to be essentially homemade.
Yeah.
Or like it would have to be somebody local. Like if you get food from outside, it would have to be like your local butcher, the guy that you know. You would know the shochet, the guy who slaughtered the animal. You would know him personally.
Yeah.
Right? Milk, you'd only get from the guy that you know.
Yeah.
Understand? Like that really takes care of most of the issues. That would be.
Can I tell you a story? I have a friend. I have a friend who used to own a sandwich shop in this area, in the New York area. Small, very popular, small but very, very popular sandwich shop, to the point how popular it was. Motzei Shabbos, they used to get like a line Saturday nights, like a line around the block till like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning. All these, smoked up yeshiva kids used to eat, whatever it is. And another friend of mine who wasn't necessarily religious asked the owner, who was a friend of ours, "Hey man, can I start a smoothie stand inside your shop? It'll be like a separate stand, like metal, and it won't be part of the because it's meat. He's serving obviously sandwiches, but the smoothie stand, by the way, it wasn't even going to be dairy. It was going to be just parv. He was going to use like parv ingredients and all that stuff. So okay, the guy's like, okay. So he's like, he figures the owner, he figures it's his it's his premises. So they buy all the this kind of this stand, like a little bar, and inside there's like all the metal equipment. They go and they toivel it. They put it in the mikvah. They bring so my friend starts this whole thing. They're like grand opening of Brazilian smoothies inside this sandwich place. And the thing had people were getting sandwiches, and then some people were getting, but it was very small, but it was a ton of people in there. And it was for the first week, it was gangbusters. It was great. People were getting the smoothies, whatever it was. The only thing is they kept asking, I don't know why they would even think to ask this. Oh, is this dairy? Because this place is meat. And my friend's like, why would it be dairy? My non-religious atheist friend who was running this.
Because of milkshakes, that's why. No,
but he's like, but I would not why would I put it? It's parv. Why would I put it there? And they finally put a sign. The milkshakes are parv. Please be aware, arrives. These are the ingredients. Yeah. What happened after 2 weeks? The kosher certification guy came in. He goes, he looked at this new little bar. He said, you have to give me an additional, for this thing, you have to give, not to him, but to the kashrut agency,
They
an
turned it
additional
into a mafia. They turned it into
$1,000 a month, or else I'm going to shut your whole place down. You need separate certification for this bar. It's parv. It's a piece of metal that was toiveled. It's parv. It's on his property. It's not, he didn't open another, room. It's inside already. He could have been serving it from the back behind the counter and just offering, saying people, put it on this menu. I have shakes. That wouldn't have been a problem. But because he has that separate bar thing going on, give me $1,000. Dude, it's like John Gotti. John Gotti, bro.
Folks, I just want to tell you that, and I'm speaking, like focusing on Orthodox Jewish people right now. When your mind is empty, right? Or when you give over responsibility for things that, to somebody else, for things that God clearly put on you to be responsible for personally, right? So that attracts the Sitra Achra. The Sitra Achra will come and nourish itself off. What an opportunity, right? To victimize people in so many different ways. Like, you created an industry based on complacency. An industry based on complacency is going to be vulnerable. It's going to attract some of the people that are going to be part of this industry are going to see opportunities to be parasitic, right? But at the same time, you have to understand that's your fault that you allowed that. Okay, you don't need all these kosher certifications. You have your home, you have your local rabbi. You don't need restaurants. Okay, it's who knows. Look, think about the laws. Think about what the Torah says about food. Think about how dangerous it is. Think about spiritually the effect that it has. How could you go to a restaurant? Do you know, like, the guy personally? It's like your grandma. You trust the guy in the kitchen that you've never seen before. You have no idea where he's from, right? It could be a bunch of, pygmies from New Guinea. They might be great people, but they know nothing about your spiritual needs.
They also say Shema Israel. You saw that video, right?
I saw it. Thank you for again, like, pulling.
Reverse Farrakhan.
Dude, you freaking, you always you pulled a Lucy on me, especially when I feel like Lucy. I'm doing a good, like you pulled the football, like when Charlie Brown is trying to kick the football.
Oh, yeah.
You pull several Lucy's on me per episode. But anyway, so no, but my point, yeah, it's fine. My point is that like, you would trust your grandma because she cares about your spiritual needs. So she's going to be very careful with the food that she prepares, both like, the love that she puts into it and to make sure that it, that all the Torah laws are observed. Like, she'll make you eggs. She'll actually check. She'll open up the egg and she'll see, is there any blood in the egg? If there's blood in it, she'll discard the old egg. She's not gonna feed that to you. You think that the guy from Mexico who's in the kitchen is going to do that for you every time? He has to make a lot of food. He doesn't do that for himself at his house because because that doesn't make any sense. That's a spiritual law that the Jews follow, and it's a waste of money if you're not obligated to do that. The person is not in the practice of doing things like that. That's who's cooking your food. And you think the mashgiach is watching him perfectly every 2 seconds? So if you're going to a restaurant, you're not serious about your spiritual well-being. You're not serious about the laws of kashrut. You have completely taken leave of your senses. I try to minimize the amount that I go to restaurants. I still get pulled into them because my family wants to go, and I can't get them to see things my way. And also, I'll still, like, in moments of desperation, I'll eat a bar that has an OU on it or something like that, even though I know it's stupid.
Yeah.